Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF Hayami Maseches KIDDUSHIN DAF Samach Vav. We got up to the 12th line off the top of the Amud. Iboiluhu. In yesterday's DAF we learned, Abaya taught us, that at times even one witness, even an Eid Echad, is going to be believed, provided he has no opposition. For instance, an Eid Echad approaches this fellow and tells him that his item became Thu May, and the fellow, just remains silent. Shtika kehida, that silence is interpreted as a concession, as an admission, and we take the Eid Echad's information, as fact. We had another couple examples. Here comes yet another example, which is even a greater chiddush than the ones before. Iboilu. Here comes a question. Ishtoi zinsa be'ed echad v'shoisik mahu. There's one aid testifying that this fellow's wife committed znus. She interacted with a stranger as married, in which case she would become asur to stay on with her husband. So we have one aid telling us, and this husband is shoisik. He's just not challenging the Eid Echad. He's accepting it, as fact. Mahu. What is the halacha in this case? Amar Abaye, Naaman. Yep. We take this information as fact, because an Eid Echad who is running unopposed has the ability to inform us and actually confirm fact. Rav Amar, no. This is very different. We don't trust the Eid Echad in this context because it's marriage-related issues. And we know that for that we need to aid him. You can't affect any change in davar shebe'erva unless you have at least two eidim pachos mishnayim. Amar Abaye, how do I know that in fact, in this type of situation, even one aid is ne'eman, even with respect to this type of context? There was a story about this blind man. He was an expert in Mishnayos. He would organize the Mishnayos and present them to Shmuel. It so happens one day, it got late and he wasn't coming. So Mar Shmuel sent somebody to look after him, to go find him. So the shliach took one route to get to this fellow's home. And as the shliach is going on this lane, the blind man happened to take a different route to the Beis Medrash. Ki asa shliach. So when the shliach eventually came back to the Beis Medrash and encountered the blind man, Amar, he says, I actually visited your home after you left, and I am sad to inform you that there was a problem. Ishtay zinsa, his wife was mazana, and it's just one aid, and the husband is, shaisik. He's not, denying it. Asal kamed Mar Shmuel. So this fellow comes to Mar Shmuel with this question. What should I do now? Amalei, he says, look, if you trust this messenger, then you have to in fact have this concern that it took place. Zil apka, you have to divorce your wife. But if you don't give this fellow too much trust, topic, there's no reason for you to divorce. That was the end of the story. Let's analyze what happened. What did Shmuel mean? You trust him, you don't trust him. My love, if you know for a fact that this fellow is otherwise a kosher aid, he's not a robber, he qualifies as a witness. In which case he has a din of an Eid Echad, and since you're unaware of the facts and you're not opposing him, you're not challenging him, he's ne'eman. Apparently, Eid Echad is to be believed, even with respect to a davar shebe'erva, if in fact he's running unopposed. That's Abaye's right. Rava responds no. Rava is the one who disagreed with Abaye. That's not what Mar Shmuel meant to say. One aid is not enough. What he meant to say is like this. If you have such ne'emanah, such trust in this messenger, in your eyes, his words are gold. He's like two eidim for you. So then you have a real concern on your hands, and you have to divorce your wife, zil apka. Because then it's like it as fact. It's not like you're being informed externally. You're totally living it. because what this witness is saying in your eyes is reality. Then you have a problem. But otherwise, if you don't have that high level of trust for this fellow, loy tapka, you don't have to divorce her. So basically, if it's just one aid, it's worthless in this case. So Abai figured to bring a riot from the story, and Rabbi disagrees. V'amar Abai says, Abai, I'll bring you another riot to my point. One aid is sufficient. How do I know this? The son, you have a brisa with Yanai HaMelech, who is a descendant of the Chashmonai family, and there was a story involving Masa Yanai HaMelech, who was a melech and conducted himself as a kohen gadol as well. He treated himself to all these statuses, and really it was problematic. So what happened? Shahalach lekuchlis shebemidbar. He traveled to this place Kuchlis out in the desert. V'kibesh sham shishim krachim, and he captured 60 large cities. Uba chazarasi, on his way back, he was very excited. V'kar l'chol chachmei Yisrael, he invited all the sages of Yisrael. Amar Lam, he tells them, look how fortunate we are today. We have such a high standard of living. We must thank Hashem with great appreciation. Aviseinu hayo oichlem maluchim. You know, our ancestors were limited to eating cheap vegetables. Bizman shahayu asukim bebinim beis hamikdash. When they were toiling in the building of beis hamikdash, Rashi explains they were poor, and they, all the building expenses really drained their resources, and they were, relegated to just, poor man's diet. And look what we have today. Look how thankful we have to be to Hashem. Hashem gave us hatzlacha. Hashem gave us ashirus, explains Rashi. And therefore, we have to be moidel of Nekadosh Baruch. Let's, bring those same type of vegetables. Let's sort of reenact their way of life, their diet. It's like the morer, the shibud, which will give us, an added appreciation for what we have today. And they brought golden tables filled with these vegetables. And they sat down to eat. And there was this really not nice fellow there. Echad ish leitz, light-hearted man, leiv ra, terrible heart, Belial, really an outcast. What was his name? Velazar ben Puraya. That was his name, Shmoy. Vayomer Elazar ben Puraya Yanai HaMelech. Apparently he was an advisor to the king. I have something to tell you. Yanai HaMelech, my dear king, libam shel prushim were the tzaddikim. Libam shel prushim alecha. Their heart is not with you. They don't like you. They don't respect you. So he was, picking a fight, instigating a fight. Uma es, Yanai responds, okay, I'm stuck. Well, what do you want me to do? He responded, Hakim lahem, get them to stand up when you wear the tzitz with Hashem's name on your forehead. B'tzitz shebenenecha. Okay. So basically, that's going to be like a litmus test. We'll see how they respond. We'll see if they respect you or not. So you put on the tzitz, hikim lahem, and he got them to stand up, b'tzitz shebenenecha, because of the tzitz. And he was gauging their response. So it was one chacham there. And what was his name? Yehuda ben Kiddushim. And he called out to the king. Yehuda ben Yanai HaMelech. Don't you have enough just being king? Rav l'cha Kessler malcha. It's enough for you, the Kessler of crown of royalty. What do you need? What do you have to go overreach into malchus? Hanach Kessler kahuna into kahuna. Hanach Kessler kahuna. Leave the crown of priesthood, Lazar shel Aaron, to the descendants of Aaron. Well, what are you getting involved in overreach? Just be happy with what you have. Leave kahuna alone. Now, there was some background to the story. The reason why he wasn't enthralled with Yanai, pretending to be a kohen gadol, show you Ayman, because the rumor was, the news was, the information that they had was as follows: Imay nishbiz b'modim. Yanai's own mother was taken into captivity in the town of Midim, which basically disqualifies her from marrying a kohen, which she eventually did, which makes her children pasul, a kahuna. And the reason why a shvuya is pasul, we learned this many times, and ksuba is because of the yichud with the goyim, and we're concerned that perhaps they interacted with her inappropriately, which makes her pasul. And really, it wasn't a confirmed story. The assumption, the information they had was that in fact she was nishbez. But they tried to investigate further. Vayivukash hadavar, V'loy nimtza. Right, by Bixam Neseres, Vayimatza. Here, they investigated, but they couldn't get to the bottom of the story. And therefore, they said it was left in limbo, and, he was of questionable lineage, in which case he's not really suitable to be a Kohen. So that was the background. And therefore, the Chacham weren't too happy with him dressing up as a Kohen Gadol. And therefore, this really, clouded the atmosphere, and the mood really deteriorated, and everybody just, ran out. The elders, the Chacham, just left angrily. So now it's just Yanai and his advisors. Elazar ben Pu'ira, Liana Melech. So Elazar turns back to the king. Yanai Melech, you're going to tolerate this disrespect? Head Yod should be Israel, just a commoner. Kachu Dinoi, that would be proper treatment. But you're the king. Va'ata Melech v'Kohen Gadol. You're a king and a Kohen Gadol. Kachu Dinecha. This is what's befitting for your honor. You got to, retaliate. So the king turns back and says, what should I do? So he responds, listen, if you listen to me, Roimsim, trample them. Kill them all out. The king responds, V'Torah, Mate Yaleo, what about the Torah? I'm going to obliterate the Torah if I obliterate the Chachamim. Well, not to worry. Hare Krucha U'Manachas B'Karen Zavis. The Torah, look, it's rolled up, sitting in the corner in the Arna Kodesh. No problem. It's accessible to all. Anybody wants to learn, Yavev Yilmoid, open door policy. No, Torah will not be forgotten. But it was a big mistake. Because the Chachamim perpetuate the Torah. They teach the Torah, they interpret the Torah. We need Chachamim. Amar Nachmar Yitzchak. Miyad Nizruka by a precursus. Yanai was, gripped with apicursus, which the Gemara Sanhedrin defines as sort of an attitude of disrespect and lack of appreciation. No value for the Chachamim. Well, what do we need the Chachamim for? And that's the route that he was taking now. He was sort of convinced that the Chachamim serve no value and purpose. Because really he should have responded by saying, he should have said, look, I understand the written Torah is right in the Svar and Shrank. But Torah Shabbat Peh, what about the oral Torah? We need the Chacham for that. And, Miyad, but immediately, Vatutzas Hara, Aide Elazar ben Pu'ira, immediately the tragic chain of events was triggered and sprouted forth through this ill advisor. Vayargu kol chachmei Yisrael, and they killed all the chachamim. And the world was desolate spiritually. Until Shimon ben Shatach came. He was actually the brother of Yanai Hamelech's wife, and she actually put him into hiding to protect him from her mean husband. And he survived, and he came back. And eventually he restored the Torah to its former glory. End of story. Now let's analyze the reason for Yanai's questionable lineage. What happened here? It was rumored that his mother was Nishbis, but it couldn't, it wasn't verified. What happened? How did the rumor start, and why couldn't they, figure things out? There was a clash of witnesses. Two Edom testified that she was Nishbis. She was taken into captivity. Other two Edom came and opposed them. No, she was never kidnapped. So why do we say we couldn't verify, we couldn't, consider an impossible? Why not? My chazos, the Samcha Sahani. Who says you rely on the second pair, who are, making him kosher? Smei Chahani. Be concerned and rely on the first pair, who say that there is a problem. Ella be'edech. Oh, so it must be that there were no two Edom. Initially, it was just one Ed. That she was kidnapped. And V'tama de kamach shli beitrei. So it's only because there were two Edom that opposed that first Ed and said, no, it never happened. That's why it could not have been confirmed. Otherwise, without the second pair opposing the first Ed, the one Ed would be sufficient to establish psul. Because as we explained before, an unopposed Ed has na'amonis. That's a raya to Abaye, even with respect to Yichus and Davar Shabbat, right? That's a raya to Abaye. So what does Rava do with this raya? V'Rava Amar no, lo yom trei. Certainly, it was two Edom that she was kidnapped, and two Eidim that she was okay. Regarding your question, why would we rely on the second pair over the first pair? It wasn't just that they were challenging the actual, facts. No. Ukuda Amar. Rav Acha bar Rav Menyumi, like Rav Acha tells us in a different story, in a different halacha, Be'edi Hazama, that the second pair were not ordinary Eidim. Fact, no, that's not what happened. They were Eidei Hazama, which basically are coming and testifying that the first pair of Eidim were not even present at that location during that time that they claim to have been there. It's a totally new Eidus. And the Torah allows Eidei Hazama to override other Eidim. So if it's just, it did happen, it didn't happen, well, who says we believe the, second pair over the first? But Eidei Hazama have a special power. That's what the Torah says. It's Eidei Hazama override the first Eidim. That's what happened here. Another pshat can be. Again, we're not speaking that the second pair are opposing, are challenging the facts. We have two Eidim that she was kidnapped. Come another pair of Eidim and say, look, we understand that happened, but guess what? We happen to know there was another twist to the story. They slipped her out at the last moment before the Goyim got involved, and they slipped in a maidservant instead of her. So that's not called hakchasha. It's not called contradicting the first Eidim, but just adding a new twist. And therefore, we can't just assume that she was pas. Amar Rava Menah Minillah. So we had two rayas from Abaye, which we sort of reinterpreted in Rava's shita, according to Rava's way of thinking. And now comes Rava and he says, look, I'll bring a raya that Rashi says the ein eidechad neman dvar erva. When it comes to dvar erva, one aid is not believed, lifsel. Even if there's nobody challenging him. I'll prove it from this mission. This not. Omar Pshem. There was a story, Masa b'Megura. There was a story involving a pool of water, Shal Diskim, which belonged to this fellow Diskim, which was used as a mikveh in the town of Yavne. It was assumed to be a full mikveh, 40 sa, the required amount. And they used it on an ongoing basis. It turns out that it was missing the required amount of water. The one sunny day they go and they measure the mikveh. It turns out that it's not a full mikveh, it's missing its required amount. So what happens to everything that was done until now? Call taharis, shenasru al gaba, hoyrab tafir mitayr, Rabbi Kiva mitami. So any sort of item which was considered to be tar based on the tefillah on this mikveh, Rabbi Tafir says, okay, it's presumed to be good. There's a chazaka that it was fine until today. Okay, anything until today is fine. Rabbi Kiva says no, it's tummy. We have to be chayshish that the mikveh was puzzled from way back. Okay, Rabbi Tarfon. It's probable that it's okay because mikvah ze becheska shalom hu'emet. Initially there was a chazak, it was an established fact that this mikvah was okay. Now, just because you discovered today that it was chasar, you're going to go back and apply that uncertainty, to back, previous use. You can't consider it to be incomplete just because of today's suffix. That was okay until now. So going forward, fine, but in terms of previous use, you have to assume that it was okay. On Rabbi Kiva, just the opposite. Instead of focusing on the mikveh, focus on the person who used the mikveh. Adam ze becheskas tummy u'emed. When the person became tummy, it was absolutely tummy, right? So now the mikveh was trying to change its status. So if anything, misafik atabol tahara, you're trying to create a tahara with a suffix, without an established fact. Al tataren misafik, you can't do that misafik. So Rabbi Tarfon focuses on the mikveh, which had a cheskas shalem. Rabbi Kiva focuses on the person who had a cheskas tumah. You can't change his status unless you know for sure. So this is with respect to the mikveh, which was presumed to be okay, and discovered today to be not okay. You look at the chazak of the mikveh, and it's okay, or the chazak of the person, and it's not. Now Tosfos explains, there was actually another point of discussion between Rabbi Tarfon and Rabbi Kiva regarding a kohen. A kohen was tamei, let's say. He went to a mikveh, and then he went to the Beis Hamikdash and served and did the avodah. Then it's a totally new case. Then Edom come along and say, by the way, we know for a fact that the mikveh was chaser when you were tovel, so it's an established fact. But he already did avodah between then and now. So Rabbi Tarfon says it's okay, and we'll see in a minute why. Rabbi Kiva disagrees. So it's totally new machlokes. Hence the upcoming discussion. Amar Rabbi Tarfon, Mashal. So the second story that we just mentioned is equivalent to a story as follows: A kohen gets up on the mizbeach, so he's doing the avodah. It turns out it's been discovered that he's a son of a divorcee, in which case his father should not have married her, which disqualifies his son from kahuna. Oy ben chalutza, son of an isha, went through chalitza, the same story. What happens to everything that he did until today, when it was not known to us? Then in fact he has this problematic status. Anything he did today, until today is fine. We'll see later from a pasuk. So basically, according to B'tar, from the same story with the fellow who mistakenly was tovel in a non-kosher mikveh and did the avodah, anything done until today, until it's been discovered, is considered kosher. Amar Rabbi Kiva, no. Mashal, let's compare it to a different case where it's not good. Al gabe mizbeach, a kohen is standing and serving on the mizbeach. V'noida shu bal mum. It turns out that he's missing a limb. Right? Well, it turns out that he was a balmum all along. Shabbat psul, anything he did until today is pasul. Same thing with this fellow who mistakenly was tovel in a pasul mikveh. So what do we compare him to? A ben grusha ben chalutza or a balmum? Rabbi Tarfon, ata dimisa il balmum. You chose to compare this kohen who was tovel to a balmum. Avani demisiv, whereas I preferred to equate him to the other fellow, le ben grusha or le ben chalutza. Nira lemidaima. Let's sit down and analyze. What is it more comparable to? I have no personal, pull either way. Let's see which one makes more sense. That's why Chacham used to speak with each other with respect and objectivity. You know what? If it compares to that case, okay, fine. We'll treat this fellow like that case. And the avodah that he did is okay. On the other hand, if he's more matching up to the balmum case, balmum will treat him as such, and his avodah is pas. Okay, so let's analyze. Here's Rabbi Akiva. Look, so Rabbi Akiva sat down and he started presenting all the pros and cons. Mikveh psulei biyachid, ubamum psulei biyachid. How do you disqualify a mikveh? All you need is one yachid, one person, one aid. Aid echad is nemun when it comes to issues of isser v'heter. If I say the mikveh is possible, you got to believe me. Ubamum psulei biyachid. Likewise, if one aid comes and claims this kohen has a blemish and unfit for avodah, you believe him, because again, it's a matter of isser v'heter. So therefore, it's probable that we compare the two ideas. The mikveh question with the balmum question. As opposed to the other fellow who has a lineage issue, that can't be shed light on our story. Over there, it's a real davar sheber, it's a familial marital issue. You need to aid him for that. So it's totally incomparable to the case of the mikveh. Davar acher, another twist, which the Gemara soon will tell us is actually just another aspect of this same argument that we just mentioned. Davar acher, mikveh psulei begufay, balmum psulei begufay. The deficiency in this mikveh is inherent in the actual mikveh. It's missing its water. Likewise, the balmum, the blemish, is inherent in the person. So the two things are of similar nature and comparable to each other. As opposed to the other fellow, there it's something external. It relates to his family and to his mother's marriage. Therefore, it's a totally different situation. Therefore, Rabbi Kiva says, I prefer to compare the story with the kohen who was tovel in the mikveh, which turned out to be pasul, and he did avodah after. I choose to compare it to the balmum, and just like by the balmum, who's been discovered today as a balmum, all the karbanos that he brought until today is pasul. Likewise, the kohen with the mikveh. Why? Because of these two reasons: the psulei begufay aspect and psulei biyachid, which the Gemara soon will tell us is actually one svara. So after Rabbi Kiva presented his argument, Rabbi Tarfon conceded. Amalei Rabbi Tarfon turns to him, Akiva, whoever separates from you, it's like separating from the source of life. Beautiful, beautiful. And he went along with Rabbi Kiva's argument. Let's just reanalyze these words. Hai balmum shepsule b'yachad echitam. We said that a mikveh can become disqualified by way of one yachid. Likewise, a balmum. What does that mean? So a fellow claims that this kohen has a mum. What's the kohen saying in response? If he's denying it, and how can we believe the Eid Echad? Everybody, even Abaye would agree that if the Eid Echad is opposed, it has no value. El Deshasuk. Apparently the kohen is being shaisik. He's remaining silent. And therefore, we go along with the testimony of the Eid Echad. We'll look at say. Now, in a similar matching fashion, right, we compared the Balmum. What's the similar case by the Ben Grusha Ben Chalusa? What's going on? Who's offering this information? Who's testifying? How many Gabe Ben Grusha Ben Chalusa? The Shasik. One aid is claiming that this kohen is a Ben Grusha Ben Chalusa, disqualified apostle, and the kohen, takes it in stride. No response. And what does the Brisa tell us? What did Rekiva tell us? That Uktani, mikveh psula biyachad, ubamum psula biyachad. That when it comes to the question of the mikveh, one aid is sufficient to make it possible. And likewise, by the balmum. Va'al yichiach, as opposed to the other fellow, Ben Grusha, Ben Chalutza, that is a totally different case. Shepsula b'shnaim. There, Rekiva tells us you need to aid him, despite the fact that the fellow is remaining silent and seems to be conceding to the Eid Echad. No, Eid Echad is not enough. You need to aid him. So when it comes to disqualifying a mikvah, that's your classic Isser Beheter issue. Eid Echad that would be Isser. When it comes to disqualifying the kohen due to a mum, again, it's just a question of Isser Beheter. If he's shaisik, you got to believe the Eid Echad. But when it comes to marital questions, mother's marriage, the Ben Grusha Bechel, there you need to aid him. It's a clear brisa. That's a right to Rav. Abaye responds by saying, no, if the fellow would have remained silent when hearing this information offered by the Eid Echad, of course the Eid Echad is believed. We're speaking that he's opposing him. He's denying it. In both cases. You're a Balmum? No, I don't have a mum. You're a Ben Grusha? No, I'm not. And that explains why the Eid Echad is not believed to say Ben Grusha Ben Chalusa. There's a hakchash in this case. So then back to the question, so why is he neman to say the mikvah is possible? Well, we'll see in a minute. Why is he neman to say that you have a mum? We'll see in a minute. So then regarding your question, if there is denial, so why do we believe the Eid Echad? All agree that an Eid Echad who has hakchash, who has that position, is not believed. So why is this different? Oh, here it's different. Here it's a unique case, because it's a reality present right in front of us. The Amrele, because when the Eid Echad proposed that this kohen has a mum and the kohen denied it, the Eid Echad just turns to the kohen and says, you know what? Prove it. Here, take off your shirt and show us. Shlach, remove your shirt, achvi, and show us whether you're not a balmum. So, in this case, we believe the Eid Echad, because, if it's really untrue, then prove it. Because you can just prove it right here. And if you refuse to prove it, then we believe the Eid Echad. And the same thing with the mikveh. We can easily measure it. There's no denying fact. It's a reality right here. Therefore he's believed. It's exactly what Rabbi Yehuda meant when he added. First he said Eid Echad is believed, and then he added. You know why he's believed? Mikveh psula begufay. Because the psul, the mikveh is right here, the guf, and the actual, it's inherent within the mikveh. It's a reality in front of us. Right? If you want to oppose the Eid, just measure it. Until then, believe the Eid. Balmum psul begufay. Same thing with the balmum. You can't oppose the Eid. It's right here. Figure it out. And prove him wrong, if you want to. As opposed to the yichus issue of the kohen, well, that's not something that he can discuss or prove right now. It's something external, doesn't really relate to him, relates to his parents, and therefore the Eid Echad is not going to have any value. Okay, so just stop for a second. So bottom line, Rava proposed a raya from this whole story that Eid Echad, who's not being opposed, is still not going to be believed if it pertains to important issues like Ben Grusha, like those things that are davar shebe'erva. And as Baye's response will be, no. If the fellow was shaisik, of course you would believe him. We're speaking that there was a hakchasha, there was opposition, and still we have a difference between Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, where the Eid is really not believed, but we have exceptions to that rule, which is the mikveh or the balmum, because you know what? You want to disprove the Eid? Go ahead and disprove it factually. Go ahead and show him. Now, this whole Mishnah was based on the premise that if a kohen was discovered today as being disqualified through ben grusha ben chalutza, then any avodah that he did until today is still okay. As opposed to if he was discovered to have been a Baal Mum, then we don't certify his avodah, his past avodah. Why? It's based on psukim. Uben grusha ben chalutza. How do we know that in that case it's kosher? The kahuna is going to be given to him and his zera. It should say his children. Banav. Why is it his zarai? Right. This was the kahuna by Pinchas. Right. So we learn zarai is plural. Bein zera kosher, bein zera pasal. Whether it turns out that his descendants are qualified or even disqualified. Until it's been discovered, any carbon that he does is okay. Avod Shmuel Amar has another source, Mehacha. Baruch Hashem Cheloi, Upoel Yadav Tirtze. Give bracha to his handiwork, to the work of Shevet Levi. Cheloi is a drasha. Afilu Chulin Shaboy. Cheloi is Lashon Chalolim, even the ones that are really disqualified from Kuhuna. If they did avoid the unbeknownst to them and to us, it's okay. Afilu Chulin Shaboy or Chalolin Shaboy, there's a girsa. Tirtze. You should, Hashem, you should, accept it and be okay with it. Rabbi Yanai Amar Mihach, we have another pasuk. Basal HaKohen, Asher Yeh Bayom Mahim, you should approach the Kohen of those days, of your generation. Why is that? V'chitala al daitrach, she'adam hoylech etzel Kohen, shlo yeh bayom. Why is it necessary to add that this Kohen is of your days? Well, obviously, you're not going to go to Kohen of the last generation. It doesn't exist. Ela zeh koshav and ischal. The point of the pasuk is to say like this: whatever you get, be happy with whatever you have today. If the kohen had a chazaka that is okay, even if it turns out that he wasn't, whatever he did is okay and accepted. So that's with respect to a lineage issue, a yichus issue. What about the other halacha? If it turns out that he was a Baal Mum all along, then whatever he did was pasul. Baal Mum da v'das psul. How do we know? Minal Amar Vidam Shmuel Amakra L'chein Emar Hidden in nice place b'isi shalom. I'm giving him my covenant, my kahuna. Shalom is learned kishu shalom when he's complete and whole. V'lo kishu chasur, not when it turns out that he was missing some in the end. He was blemished. But it doesn't say shalom; it says shalom. Shalom ksiv. How could you learn shalom as shalom? Amar Nachman vav the shalom. The letter vav in the word shalom katil was chopped. It's a short vav, and therefore it's meant to serve as a drasha, as if you eliminate that letter, and it turns into shalom. The kohen has to be complete and whole without mumin, otherwise whatever he does is pasul. Okay, so in summary, we had a machlekes, Abaye v'Rava, regarding the power of an id echad, who's testifying as to a davar shebe'erva, like ishtei zinsa, etc., and there's no opposition to the id echad. Abaye says he has ne'emanas, Rava says he does not. This is totally different. This is davar shebe'erva. We need two edim to confirm facts. Abaye had one raya, another raya which Rava refuted, and Rava had a raya which Abaye refuted, or the Gemara at least refuted it based on the opposing shita, and we concluded with the psukim that the kohen Baal Mum, well, his avodah is pasul regardless, but the begrusha ban chalutza, who's been discovered today as such, any avodah that did until today is okay. It's based on a pasuk, and we have another pasuk, and yet a third as well. Perhaps we'll leave the Mishnah for tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.